Plaintiff Gerald Booker dated the defendant's mom when he was younger, and 8 months after they broke up, he ran into her and she was pregnant. Gerald claims he's always questioned whether or not the defendant was his son, so he petitioned the court for a DNA test today. Defendant Brandon Swoops says for as long as he can remember, he's been asking about his father. And last year, Gerald finally reached out to him on social media. Brandon's excited to find out if Gerald is his biological father.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
All right, and Mr. Booker, you and Mr. Swoops are here to determine whether there's some blood you all share. And we're glad to be able to accommodate that. So let's hear from you, Mr. Booker, first.
Yes, sir. My story goes this way. I was young, 21, 22, and I was running the streets, being a little wild and reckless and just doing my thing. And young lady, which is his mother, she was doing her thing, and we ran into each other, and one thing led to another. One of the things that I asked her if she would accompany me in dinner because I didn't want to eat alone that night. So she said yes, and we engaged in conversation and everything. Dinner was nice, and I asked her if she'd come go with me, to my place. And so
For dessert.
With that.
For dessert?
Yeah.
Go
ahead. So she did come back over?
Yeah.
How old were you all?
I was 20, about 22. She was like 30.
Okay.
Wow. She's a little older.
All right. That's good to know because he's doing the same thing. And how old are you?
Oh, I'm 29.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing. Running around trying to get him some one night stands. Go ahead.
Like father.
That's right. Like father, like son. That's how I know y'all father son now. Right.
So anyway, time went on and we ended. She had an appointment. Just got an appointment, and so rather than to just keep going by, I decided to move in with her. And we were going to build life together, I thought. And so her mother had a boyfriend, I remember, and the boyfriend had a brother. And the mother wanted the brother to move into her apartment. And I guess she didn't know that we were staying together. And so she came to me, she consulted with me. And of course, me being a man, I said no. Just one man gonna be here. So she did not agree with me, and she said, well, he's coming anyway. He's gonna move in anyway. So long story short, I said, okay, give me a day to think about it. And basically when her back was turned, she left. I packed my little bag that I had and I got on. And 8 months later up the road, I run into her and she's pregnant. And she says, it's yours.
Well, before we go any further, let me allow Brandon to give some background from his perspective. Then we'll get back. And let me just make an observation, sir. Men should learn a lesson from what he just said. You stand with a woman, she taking care of you, and she just come home one day. I think I want to move another man in. What? Shut up. My place. But baby, didn't I tell you? It's my place. Just making my point, gentlemen. And make sure you're paying your share or you have your own until you're married.
That part right there.
Let me hear from you then.
So basically, growing up, I asked my mom, obviously, where's my dad and, what the story was. And, she was vague. She, we fell out. We met up pretty much how he said it. He asked me out to dinner. He was nice. He was suave. He had a little pocket change. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his thing. She said he was very nice looking man, kind of wooed her.
She lied about that. Go ahead. She said, Mama never lied to me. Mama, I thought you promised never to lie to me. I saw him.
Yeah. And remember, Judge,
I've been doing that lately. I've been calling people ugly. I don't know if that's nice or not. But I went from crackhead to ugly. People say, you always call somebody crackhead. I said, well, okay, I'll just go to ugly. All right, there's a lot more ugly people than there are crackheads. Yeah. So I might be saying that often. All right, I'm sorry, young man, but she gave you misinformation about your father.
You forget he was 21. He was 22.
I know, and if he resembled you, he was handsome back in the day. You're a good-looking guy. So go ahead.
I mean, I don't know about you. I just can't see my mama being with no ugly man.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. She certainly wouldn't choose him on the first night if he was ugly. You own to something. So there you go. You better be glad it made sense. That she wouldn't choose you on no first night if you were ugly. How old were you when you first asked your mom about your dad?
As early as I can remember, like maybe 6. I think I remember meeting someone who she said was like my dad. I don't recall if it was him or someone else, but I do vaguely remember meeting someone at like the age of 5 or 6. And then I've asked her about it when I was 10,
What'd she say? What would she say?
She would tell me that there was a man named Alex, or that was his name, that was my dad. And she would always reiterate that story, that she met him and they went out and they started to be together. And then after they fell out, she found out she was pregnant with me. And that, they never reconnected while she was pregnant until she seen him maybe and let him know that she was pregnant maybe 8 months in, she was saying. And that there was always kind of a discrepancy between the two of them, I guess, because of how the way things fell out and stuff, that he wasn't sure if I was his. And then I had other family members telling that same story about the other man and that might possibly be my dad.
Al. Will you say Al or Alex? What she say the name was?
Al, Big Al. But that was just like, I guess that's just what her name for him was, or pet name. That's okay. What she would tell me. So that's all. When I would go and look for him and when I would search for him, that's what I would search for.
Big Al.
Yana.
Yes, sir, Big Al. You know you Big Al. Yes, sir.
I can say it. I can clear that up. What happened was bid young, and I was in the game, and my slogan at that point was, if you're gonna be in the game, you gotta have a different name. You can't show the, and that's so right. That's why I was put away at that, for so long. But of course, I was just basically being stupid. And
you had a short bag or a big bag?
Very short bag. Okay. Very short bag.
All right. Tell me, when you found out, when you confirmed and reconnected, what year was that?
Well, I personally finally reconnected with him just in early 2019.
How did it come about?
It came about through social media. I guess he had got a beat on me because, by the time I found out his real name and started searching that, I still hadn't come up with any hits yet. But he eventually found me through my page and through my mom. And he actually contacted me that way.
Okay.
And so I was about 28.
You were searching for him as well. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir. Well,
that you both were looking?
Good. I kept her, she showed me pictures of him. And so we did a little brief talk, and I told her that, I'd like to know for sure, because there was always this background story that there was at least 2 other fellows beside me. And so I needed to know. I just although I still have children myself that I was raising, still raising. I have 4 minor sons, which, possibly his 4 minor brothers. But I watched him on Facebook, and I called a few family members, and I was like, hey, go on Facebook and check this name out. And I called all back home to Texas, and they said, oh, that's your son, and I've heard it. So, I was flattered, proud, because he's a nice young man, and there's a lot of love in his heart from what I've known and gathered. And one of the things that I really, really like, Judge, is that, when I first approached him, he didn't come, what you want, I'm grown, I don't need no dad now. And so that touched me, and I just, felt good about that. And because and he calls me on Father's Day, and say, hey, happy Father's Day, Pops, just being real nice and mannerable. I tell you, if it was that he wasn't my son, man, I would want him to adapt me as a dad.
Great. That's a great commentary. Great commentary. Do you hear that praise, young man? And
Yeah,
I got to tell you, you're a bigger man than me. If my dad showed up, I wouldn't embrace him. I wouldn't want nothing to do with him. So you're a bigger man than me. All right, congratulations for having the type of character that I should have. I tell people my main flaw is it's hard for me to forgive. I hold grudges. That's one of my flaws. So I'll probably hold a grudge against my dad and wouldn't forgive him if he showed up. Bottom line. All right, so hats off to you. I'm glad you all want to be father and son. And so much so that you chased each other down, not dodge each other. My old man was in the same town. I learned that he was 2 miles up the street most of my life. Wow. And never sought a relationship or paid any money. Well, I don't know if he paid. He couldn't pay too much. We living in the project. So I am so glad to hear that you all wanted to. Let's find out whether you all are blood related or whether you're gonna continue with a relationship. We always want 2 black men to show each other the ropes. We always want a younger black man to have a mentor, particularly someone like you. Hats off to you. You came from the game, yet you took care of your children, defying the stereotypes that black men in the street game don't care about their children. That's not true. They love their children like every other man. I'm an eyewitness to that. So make sure that you mentor him and make him a good young man, because you're the father, and that's your responsibility. Have a good day.
What?
Yes, your father.
Hey, you gotta meet your grandson now.
Yeah, man. I could cry. Hey, but man, I love you, boy. And we got a lot of catching up to do, definitely.
Yeah, well, where the family reunion at? I ain't been one of them in I don't know how long.
I haven't either, but it was in Texas. I don't know what's going on now, because of this pandemic thing going on. So I don't know, but we're going to find out something. And if not, we're going to make something somewhere. That's for sure. And I want to try and get a hold to your big sister, and so that she can be involved as well.